They told you being alone is something wrong, something broken, something to fix as quickly as possible. They told you silence means emptiness, that empty rooms mean failure, that if your phone is not ringing, if your life is not constantly filled with people, noise, and distraction, then something must be missing in you. But what if that was never true? What if the thing you've been avoiding your entire life is actually the thing that builds you? What if solitude is not where you lose yourself, but where you finally meet yourself? There is a moment in life that changes everything. It does not come with celebration. It does not come with people cheering. It does not come with recognition. It comes quietly. When everything stops distracting you. When the world finally becomes silent enough that you can hear your own thoughts again. At first, it feels uncomfortable. Because suddenly, there is nothing to run toward. No scrolling. No conversations. No background noise to fill the gaps in your mind. Just you and your thoughts. And that is where most people escape. Because silence does something powerful. It removes everything you use to avoid yourself. But Stoic philosophy begins exactly here. Not in comfort, not in distraction, but in awareness. Marcus Aurelius did not become mentally strong because life was easy. He became strong because he learned to sit with himself in a world that was constantly pulling him outward. He wrote to himself in silence, not for attention, not for validation, but for clarity. Because he understood something most people never learn.
There comes a point in solitude where silence is no longer silent. It starts speaking, not in words you hear, but in thoughts you cannot avoid. At first, you think you are just sitting alone, but slowly you realize something uncomfortable. You are not alone with nothing. You are alone with everything you have been avoiding. Because when the world is gone, what remains is your mind. And your mind does not become quiet just because the world is. It becomes louder, clearer, more honest, and sometimes more uncomfortable than anything outside you. This is the stage where most people retreat. They fill the silence again. They reopen distractions. They return to noise. Not because noise is better, but because noise is easier. But Stoicism was never built for what is easy. It was built for what is real. And reality begins when escape ends. Epictetus.
There is a final stage in solitude that most people never reach. Because it does not feel like growth at first. It feels like stillness. But this is not emptiness. This is completion. At this stage, something inside you changes permanently. You are no longer afraid of being alone. You are no longer dependent on constant noise. You are no longer chasing validation just to feel real. Because something deeper has formed within you. A stable self. And once that stability exists, the world does not disappear. But your reaction to it does. You still see people. You still hear opinions. You still move through life. But you are no longer pulled by everything. You are no longer shaken by everything. You are no longer defined by everything. This is what Stoics spent their entire lives building. A mind that does not collapse under pressure.
a mind that does not depend on approval, a mind that does not lose itself in emotion, a mind that stays with itself, even when everything else changes. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events."